Forgive me.
I told you that I wanted to die, James. I wanted the pain to end.
Hidden endings in video games can be a real treat. Often, secret endings appease some players' desire for the game's narrative to have gone in a different direction. Other times, the alternative endings can be a little joke Easter egg popped in by devs. And even in other cases, the secret endings can be triggered by players accomplishing something in the game that they may or may not have even realized they did. Regardless, they can be satisfying at their best. But sometimes, secret endings can be horrific at their, well, not worst, but many of those that fall into the horror territory are considered to be the worst possible endings to achieve. So today we are taking a look at a handful of unsettling endings with our list of the top 10 scary secret video game endings. Some of these conclusions are gruesome, while others are painful in the context of the game's story world as to what greater implications they'll have. So with that in mind, let's get to it. And at number 10, Shenmue. When it was first released in 1999, Shenmue made some pretty big waves in the gaming community. The open-world action-adventure title took a lot of different elements and game mechanics and blended them into a title that quickly developed a large fanbase. While the game's canon ending leads into the sequel, there is an alternate ending available that takes a significantly darker direction. In the game, you play Ryo, whose father is killed at the beginning of the title by a dude named Lan Di. In this ending, you get killed by Lan Di as well, who kills you in pretty much the exact same way that he knocked off Daddy Dearest. In order to do it, you need to wait until the in-game date is April 15th, 1987. In at number 9, Far Cry 4. Ubisoft's Far Cry series is known for making some bold story decisions. While the fourth game isn't considered to be their best, although it did get great reviews, it did start the trend of an Easter egg that the series began to repeat, much to fans' delight. In Far Cry 4, the game's antagonist is Pagan Min, a tyrannical leader of the fictional country Kyrat, where you have returned in order to spread your mother's ashes. The country is in the midst of a civil war, and the choices you will make influence the fate of the nation. Min is a violent king, and in the game's regular ending, whether you choose to listen to him or just to shoot him, regardless, the country is pretty much screwed. It either becomes an authoritarian drug state with a child military, or a religious fundamentalist theocracy where all those opposed are executed. This ending might actually be the best one, because I guess ignorance is bliss. When you first arrive in Kyrat, you're brought to Pagan Min, who asks you to wait while he takes care of some business, which is obviously torturing what he deems as terrorists. If you wait 15 minutes and do nothing, he actually returns and lets you spread your mother's ashes, and then invites you to join him in dominating over the country. The game then ends before it ever really begins. Moving on to number 8, Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 continued the tradition of ending the game right at its start. This time around, the series is set in the fictional Hope County, a region in Montana that has been taken over by a doomsday cult called Eden's Gate. Its leader, Joseph Seed, is pretty darn terrifying, and in the regular ending of the game, he sets off a nuclear bomb that then leads into the events of Far Cry New Dawn. Anywho, similar to our previous number, you come face to face with the game's antagonist right at its beginning. Working with the local sheriff, you're brought into Eden's Gate in an attempt to have Seed surrender. Something that he does not do. You're given the option to put the cuffs on the father, but if you wait and ignore all the prompts from the NPCs, eventually you and the sheriff and the US Marshal leave, with the credits rolling. Seemingly less dramatic, but knowing that you didn't even bother trying to put an end to the cult and all of the terrible things that they do is quite dark nonetheless. In at 7, Shadow Complex. Shadow Complex is a title that debuted on the Xbox Live Arcade back in 2009 and was critically acclaimed. It's a Metroidvania-style 2.5D game. You play as Jason Fleming, whose new girlfriend Claire explores a cavern that they stumble across. When Claire doesn't respond to your calls, Jason goes in after her to rescue her. But similar to Far Cry, the game has an additional ending that you can achieve if you decide to not follow through with the game's narrative, and instead, turn around and return to your Jeep. It gives you the option to choose to leave Claire, and Jason then just states that there's plenty of fish in the sea, which basically just means you're leaving her to die. And at number 6, Metal Gear Solid. In the first Metal Gear Solid game, there's a torture scene in which you need to willingly participate. Otherwise, your inaction will cause Meryl, your love interest of sorts, to die. If you give up and give in to the torture, Meryl dies, with you essentially selling her life to save your own. While it's technically not canon, you do get a really tragic scene with Snake monologuing about how terrible of a person he is. It's really dramatic. Moving on to number 5, The Suffering. The Suffering is a 2004 first-person shooter title, which follows the story of a man named Torque, a prisoner on death row accused of killing his wife and kids. He claims to be innocent, having blacked out during the crime. After an earthquake hits the prison and it's attacked by supernatural threats, you find your way fighting through demons to get to your freedom. The prison itself is on an island, meaning you are restricted to it. Now, the end of the game has one potential ending that is rather dark. The ending is determined by the decisions that you've made, and if you've made particularly evil ones, this is the one that you'll get. It reveals that Torque is in fact guilty of the crimes that he's been convicted of. He beat his wife to death, he drowned one of his kids, and then threw the eldest of his children out of a window. Yeah, pretty dark. It ends with you turning into a grotesque creature as the Coast Guard comes to rescue you from the island, and you end up killing them. Well, presumably killing them, and then run off into the forest afterwards. Up next, number 4, Inside. Inside is a puzzle platformer adventure title developed by Playdead, the same folks who brought you Limbo. Said to be the spiritual successor of Limbo of sorts, the game puts you in the shoes of a boy venturing through a dystopic world that is mostly silent, trying to stay alive. Now, if you do die, the boy's death is quite graphic and realistic, despite the game being mostly monochromatic. Inside's secret ending is fitting of its tone, so if you manage to deactivate all of the hidden light orbs in the game's various bunkers, the boy can return to one of the bunkers and gain access to a brand new area, which includes a bank of computers and mind control helmets. They're all connected to a plug. If you pull the plug that connects them to that power, the boy adopts the same stance as the zombies in the game, with it ending moments later. Of course, this spawned a billion theories about what the ending could mean, but that's for a whole other video. Up next, number 3, House of the Dead. Those of you who hung out in arcades in the late 90s or early 2000s may remember this title, and actually it's still kicking around in many arcades too. It was a horror video game franchise from Sega, released in 1996 that eventually was ported to consoles. Since there have been 6 games in total in the series, but the first one is the one that we're looking at today. Getting this hidden ending was a difficult feat. If you managed to win the game with less than 62,000 points, which really means you only kill zombies that are necessary to advance certain scenes, and also never had to continue at all, you would be rewarded with this unfortunate ending. Sophie, your fiancé, gets turned into a zombie. It's actually really dark, and there's a decent amount of blood. It's kind of tragic. Moving on to number 2, Disgaea 2. The games in the Disgaea series are tactical RPGs, with a sequel title following the events of a human unaffected by a curse that the powerful overlord Xenon put on the entire human population of your home, Veldmine. There is one possible ending where you hear your fellow heroes being brutally dismembered, along with them screaming. Yeah, it sounds like flesh is being ripped apart, and it is pretty gruesome. Then the text that appears afterwards reads, "I am a being of solitude," before you're brought back to the main menu of the game. Now, in order to get this ending, you need to have 99 felonies, kill over 99 allies, which includes Rosalind, the Overlord's daughter, and then defeat a boss that has a level of 2000, True Xenon, whose battle is only triggered after you kill Rosalind, who also appears in a pool of blood. Yeah, it's graphic. And finally, in at number 1, Drakengard. Drakengard was a title that was released in 2003, and is best known for its spin-off series Nier, which actually came to be thanks to one of this title's more absurd endings. There's 5 in total. While that's fascinating on its own, there's one potential ending in Drakengard that's very surreal and kind of traumatizing. An alternate ending that features not only time travel, but deadly cannibalistic flying babies that you need to fight. What makes it more insane is that when the baby's mother, who is massive in size, also joins in on the conflict, she opens up a portal to modern day Tokyo. You go through it and find yourself and your dragon impaled on a building, while fighter jets shoot away at you. The whole sequence is filled with really mental imagery, including the baby's teeth, which actually don't really make sense, but it's still pretty creepy nonetheless. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other alternate endings have freaked you out in the past? Give us a shout in the comments below and let us know. If you dug this video, spread that love, hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists just like this one. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.